That is my transmission after a brick was thrown at me on the freeway when I lived in Manford. I had pulled out of the hotel at Lakeshore. I wasn't really living there. I was staying there for an extended period of time. And please remember, that's the police department that lost the police chief to murder. And his detective accused of killing him when evidence doesn't say that's what happened. So, if they caught a sex trafficking and sex exploitation case, and we're talking about Jeff Epstein just hours before the murder, might that be motive? I had just 6 days before. I'm a victim of the sexual exploitation and the trafficking. I've been sold by someone who doesn't own me. It is illegal to sex traffic. It comes with a life sentence prison sentence. Or Mr. Perry, Mr. Robertson, Calvin, Lucius, all you guys involved in that, Sanjay. We got a lot of names. Once Mr. Perry threatened to get me kicked out of my home. He'll strip women of everything. Jobs, relationships, drives family away, threatens family away, threatens friends away, gets them fired. I'm one of many victims to where they're just down to nothing, and he's trying to get me to that point. And he admits it. Mr. Perry will admit it. I'm trying to get you to that point. You need to go to Texas where you can do more to me because you've sold me. Again, you act like you've no idea what I fucking just said. Sex trafficking is a very serious, disgusting, nasty crime, and you've not been caught this much in your life. When you started doing it to me, everything for you changed, and you act like you don't know that, sir. Your elevator doesn't go to the... You ought to hear the jokes about you behind your back. You ought to hear them. How weird you are and how stupid you are. You are getting told on and caught more than ever in your life, and you act like you don't know that. While you call around and ask every PD in the country, is it you helping her catch my crime? Is it you? And asking people, did you leak? Did you let something slip? So you don't even make sense. People make fun of you because you sound, our shrink thinks you're legit mentally retarded, severely, due to Huntington's disease that causes delusion and paranoia, maybe some senile dementia. You don't have any idea what you're saying. You don't make sense. You're caught. So when you say, yeah, I'm going to do that, we laugh. Your people make fun of you. if you're calling around to try to find what PD is giving me information about what you're going to do before you do it, we don't get it after. Everybody needs to pay very close attention to dates on emails and texts. You'll see that we get this information pretty much every day. We're quoting them for 7 years. Not once or twice that this has happened. Not for a day or a week or a month. Every day, all day long for 7 years. Mr. Perry and David Robertson and Calvin and Lucius and their sex trafficking business, whatever, organized crime thing, weirdo club, Mensa Queens, we call them. We quote them every day. Our information that we get is very, very specific and very, very detailed as to what discussion they all had when they planned a criminal act against me, intending to cause me harm. And that would include, but is not limited to, starvation, murder in the first degree, after murder in the first degree, after murder in the first degree, that didn't work out because I have help. It's not TPD. So Mr. Perry's asked, is it Tulsa police? Are they telling on me? Mr. Perry, Tulsa police is not telling on you that I know of. That doesn't mean I'm not told who the leaks are, sir. Did you call Tulsa police and tell them you wanted to kill me? And you're afraid they leaked to my guys? Is that what you're saying when you ask that kind of question? My family, is your family leaking? Is it your kids? Is it Z? Is it Al? People I've never met, never heard of. The name Z has not come up in any kind of police chatter. I've never heard of the guy except for you asking about him. If it's a guy, what if it's a girl? I didn't even know. So, who's Z to you? Sanjay's name came up this weekend, but when he starts threatening, I'm going to get you kicked out of your home. I'm going to get you kicked out of your home. I'm going to get you kicked. Sounds like a little brat that you want to fucking hit with a brick. Literally, you want to hit. I mean, I'm not going to hit him literally with a brick, Mr. Powell. It's a metaphor, but sometimes you want to. It's just that the rest of us have that thing in our heads that says you can't actually do that. You know, you're making a point. This is how angry I am. Are we clear, Matt? There's no threat. There's no big... If Mr. Perry gets anywhere near me, I'm telling you right now, I'm not going to wait to see if he's got a syringe or a chloroform rag, a syringe with poison. He's already planned that one. You didn't talk to the police that got that information, did you? But it's the same police that gave me the McNamara email and quoted you, or I'm sorry, gave me the recording of you saying she torpedoed my case. Can we just get Frank to say she misunderstood something? And somebody in Oklahoma with a brain, maybe Mike Neely, I don't know, said you can, but I don't think that'll work. Because in those texts you're referring to, Mr. Perry never asked Cynthia why she's mad because he already knew. And he never denies spreading rumors of an affair. He denies having employees, and we all know he had employees. She named them, Carl and Robin Tepper. So he didn't even lie right. So I don't think your lie's going to work either. So all of that, it's the same cops, not TPD. That doesn't mean somebody at TPD is not helping. I don't know. I'm not told that. I've said that to you over and over and over. When you're gone, I won't be broke ever again. So I want for you to be gone. I won't be sold online on your online peep show that you have. You're proving out our witness. You're proving out recordings every time you do it. You know we have it. You do it anyway. You know we have the intel. Every time you cause me a loss. When you started threatening my home. I'm going to get you kicked out of your home. We start getting names like Calvin, Blankenship, and Desiree, Sanjay, Lucius, Geppetto, your people. Not all of those are criminals, but those are people that have come up in chatter where you're concerned. Somehow, some way. So we can get names, and you have not one name of the guys, and they need to know they give me that information. Not one name. Because you're the criminal, you're pissing people off, you're just making people feel horrified, uncomfortable, and disturbed by what you're putting me through and what you're putting Officer Neely through. Everybody hates you people. Polling. I'm listening to Brian Kilmeade this morning. My cop friends are watching it too. Listening to it too, I'm sorry. On the radio. And they had a lengthy conversation. I think it was Michael Huckabee, but I'm not certain who he was talking to. I didn't listen to that part. very critical of politicians who are not tough on crime. Because on the polling for months now, what is top of the list is inflation and crime. People don't like crime. When you do something that's illegal, that means you did something that thousands of people in all 50 states, and sometimes the federal government too, sat down and decided this is behavior and conduct we're not going to tolerate in a civilized society. If you do it, you go to jail. So, life in prison, Mr. Perry, is what comes with sex trafficking, human trafficking. Understood? So when you get up on your, high horse and beat your chest like a fucking retarded monkey and tell me what you can do and you think you're getting away with it when we quote you every day, the jokes made behind your back are unbelievable. Unbelievable. I mean, if we know what you're saying, we have our ear to the ground in a lot of places. People make fun of you because you're stupid and you're weird. And you're creepy. You too, David. The conversations behind your back are not positive. But why would they be? Because you're horrible, hardened, deranged, demented criminals who've put people through hell. And you don't have a lie. You don't have a date. You don't have a lie. You guys have blow-up dolls, right? That can survive on your canned food. Women who have been around power aren't going to put up with that. I mean, they're not putting up with it. So what is it different when you do it to me? It's very different when you do the crime to me. And you act like you don't know that because you've never been quoted before, I hear. Your guy says when he pesters her and takes her money, things don't go well for us. We're seeing things happen we've never seen before. Like you get quoted planning it. What that is, Mensa Queen, since your attorneys suck and didn't explain it to you, it's called mens rea. You've expressed intent to commit a crime. You said, I'm going to hurt her. Here's how I'm going to hurt her. Here's when I'm going to hurt her. And I know it's illegal. I'm going to do it anyway. Because I think I'm God. I've got a grandiose mind of a serial killer. And I think I can get away with it. And as much as we've quoted you in great detail, very specific things that you're trying to do to me, we don't know why in the fuck you think that. Again, lots of jokes. Lots of jokes about the mental slow there. 7 years of it every day. So you tell us, why is it different when you do it to me? And what is it you think you're getting away with? If we're quoting you when you're planning it. Not once and twice. 50 to 75 emails about Richard getting my ringtone. I don't know, 20, 30 about we got to get her to take the yellow brick road. We're going to use the carrot and stick approach. We're going to make her go back to Texas where we can do more to her. Yeehaw. Get the hay out of your mouth and talk right. So, hey, I hate that kind of shit. I mean, people in the rest of the country can't stand that hick hillbilly bullshit, you guys. Okay, so back to this. So, in other words, what happens is when you cause a harm to me or talk about causing a harm to me, you take 1 penny of my money. You take 1 minute of my time, like right now. You take my privacy. You take 1 day of Michael Neely's life and freedom. You cause 1 problem, we get more. We have names of people within your criminal organization or who have had some sort of contribution. Now, the contribution may have been that you called someone and said, I want to do XYZ to her, and they said, yeah, I don't think that's a good idea. So the contribution might be that small. It may not. It might be a lot greater. I'm not going to disclose that right now. I know. I'm not going to disclose it. You got a criminal trial coming up, so we'll wait till then. What day are they going to arrest you? What day are they going to arrest you? When you're sitting in jail, I'm going to come see you and go, tell me now, sir, what did you get away with? You tell me right now, Mr. Perry. When you're sitting in prison and you've got quoted every fucking day planning a criminal act against me, intending an injury. Now, what day are they going to arrest you? And on that day, I'm going to ask you, what is it you think you're getting away with? I mean, you beat your chest. You ruined my life. You ruined my credit. You starved me, trying to kill me. It's just another murder attempt. It's just another method. It's slower and more miserable. Then you tell me now what the fuck is it you think you're getting away with. You think a lot of things. You think I'm your concubine. Whack job. There's no such thing. You have, oh my God, you had to hear the jokes made behind your back about that. He thinks he thinks he owns her, and that's his concubine. He's going around crying like a girl. She's my concubine. I own her. Oh, wow. You're truly whack job. Truly mentally ill. Mentally retarded and mentally ill, our shrink says. She can't wait to examine you. He's a plethora of... I'm not even going to say what she said. I'll put my own word there. Strange-o. Strange-o. You're a Netflix special. Why the fuck would anyone do that to another person? But what it gets for us is you piss everybody off, and then we get more of your inside information, like actual names of people. David. Who's Blankenship to you, David? Who's Calvin to you, David? Who's Desiree to you, David? Who's Sanjay to you, David? Who's Lucius to you, David? Who's Calvin to you, David? How do you know these people? Who are they? We have their names, and you have not one name of anybody helping me. Right? So, Geppetto's your witch. You know, you and Geppetto have these long conversations about whether or not I take the Eucharist. The Eucharist is a symbol and nothing more. All by itself, and so is the Rosary, by the way, all by itself is just empty. It's just a thing. So, when you read the Bible, Geppetto and David, then maybe you'll figure out why you think it has a lot of power when someone takes the Eucharist or the Rosary. It's just, these are symbols, these are rituals. It's what's behind it that has the power, not the ritual and not the symbol. Got it? I don't have sage, Geppetto. So we've heard you talking to your witch, Geppetto. Was he trying to cast spells on me? I mean, you guys have taken this really far. I hired a witch to cast spells on me, and he can't figure out why they're not working. And we're like, oh my God, talk about desperate and pathetic. Actually hired a witch to cast spells on me and do like voodoo and crap and hooky wooky. Why don't you do some hooky wooky and make them normal dudes, Geppetto? So these are, this is my transmission. So I'm pulling out of Lakeshore, and I would usually go right to get on the highway and head east to my work. But I saw Charles' guy sitting there at the end of it, at the end of the road. So I was like, ew, I tried to avoid him. Just like I try to avoid Charles. There's no concubine. He's wacko. So, you know, cuckoo bird. Cuckoo bird. So somebody told one of my guys, we think Chief Franklin doesn't really get very thrilled when she calls Charles Perry Princess Cuckoo Bird. He had an officer get in a lot of trouble. They got sued over that. And so he's like, why does she use that term? Okay, well, here's why I use that term, because that's what he is. And I was on the side of the officer that used that term, by the way. I'm on her side. Dealing with somebody who's mentally ill is very, very frustrating, especially when you don't have that gift. I think it takes a gift of a special kind of person to deal with mentally ill people. Because it's like talking to literally a piece of broccoli. You're talking to them and they don't understand what the fuck you just said. You can tell by the way they act, they don't respond appropriately. You can tell they don't understand what the hell you just said. And so it's not when you're like having a normal conversation with a very intelligent individual where they respond appropriately and you're having a reasonable conversation. You can reason with them. I had a delivery the other night that got really complicated because DoorDash policy conflicted with the company's policy. So it was a drop off at a company, and the company was arguing with me as to where to leave it and how to leave it, and I'm telling them I'm sorry, but that conflicts with DoorDash policy. So here's the thing though, we all talked it out and we worked it out and it was fine. There was no fighting, nobody was angry, nobody there. I was like, you're trying to do your job, I'm trying to do mine, let's try to figure out what can we do, because your policies are conflicting with mine, with DoorDash. And they were like, yeah, okay, so maybe we could do this. And we started finding solutions that we could both live with. That's normal, intelligent, reasonable, prudent individuals can do that. But when you're talking to somebody who's mentally ill, and there's a woman laying in the bathroom for fucking 5 hours before somebody called for help, and the guy that let that happen should have been put in jail for, negligence, something. I don't know, I'd find something. You don't let somebody just wallow around in the bathroom floor for 5 hours before you call 911 and get some help. 30 minutes, and then I'd be on the phone. We got a woman in a crisis here. So I don't know how the hell the guy that let that is inhumane, in my opinion. Not her getting frustrated because she's dealing with somebody who's not listening to her and not responding appropriately to the instructions given. And people are people. You're gonna get frustrated. You gotta let off some steam. Somehow she didn't beat the hell out of her or anything like that. She just called her. She's trying to let off some steam, and I get it. I mean, I'm subjected to the imposition and burden of dealing with a mentally ill person and a mentally retarded person. And it's hard. It's very, very hard. And someone with Alzheimer's, you got to repeat yourself. Everybody else you say at one time and it's good, they're good. They're golden. They get it. Not Mr. Perry and not Mr. Robertson. Both of them, you have to say the same thing over and over and over and over, and they act like you never said it. They still act like they didn't understand you. It's maddening to have to deal with people like that. That you can't reason with them. You can't reason with crazy, and you can't fix stupid. And those two are living, breathing examples of that right there. It is insane to do the same thing every day and expect different results. And yet they do. Yet they do it. For 7 years, guys. Not just a day, a week, or a month. 7 years every day. We're quoting them every time they cause me any kind of loss at all. If I lose an eyelash because of you, everybody gets pissed, everybody gets to work, everybody starts digging, and then we quote you. People start talking about it, and then we get it. And y'all all run around like monkeys. How did she find out? How did she know about that? How did she find out about that? She wasn't supposed to know about that. I wasn't supposed to know I was trafficked. I wasn't supposed to know I was sold. I wasn't supposed to know Mr. Perry was running around crying like a little girl. She's my concubine. I own her. Crazy, man. That right there is crisis management. So this woman on the bathroom floor starts to get dangerous. She starts trying to light a fire. Now, any police officer anywhere realizes you have to neutralize the danger. She was unsuccessful, but she might not have been. The thing is, do you want to roll the dice if you're in the building? You want to get blown up? You want to roll that dice and see if she can get the fire started or not? I wouldn't. If you're a police officer, your responsibility is to subdue and neutralize the threat, right? That's your job. She did her job. She's the one that got the woman off the floor and to some help. Crisis management was busy, but you know what? Had the guy, the manager of that store, who let her lay around and waller in the floor for 5 hours, or like Mr. Perry and Mr. Robertson, they're wallering around in the floor for 7 years. People are laughing at them. They're getting quoted, and they're still going at it, and don't know how crazy people don't know they're crazy. They don't know how crazy they look. They don't know. They say things that don't even make sense and have no idea. Everyone else is going, oh my God, that did not even make sense. What a stupid thing to say. How embarrassing. How embarrassing. She caught him and they think they can do it anyway. I mean, they don't even know who's helping her. You haven't been able to get even one name. We got a bunch of names, don't we, David? I didn't pick the fight. You did. I didn't know you. I still don't know you. I don't want to know you. I know this. I put up with a lot of my time that I could have been getting dances from somebody else in that building, and I took your canned food so that I could get information out of you. I'm going to get my evidence to get a conviction. Do you understand? I did it better than you don't know anybody that's done it like I've done it. You don't know anyone. None of you do. 6 years, here's going to be the famous line. Maybe I'll book, or I don't know. 6 years in a strip club, not one slip up. Not one slip up. By the way, I don't claim to be an expert in sting ops. I don't make that claim. What I said, my words, were I suck at everything but sting op. I can do that in my sleep. Those were my words. That doesn't mean I'm an expert at it. I'm sure there's people a lot better at it than me. My words were, for me personally, I suck at everything but not that. Not that. I don't suck at that. 6 years in a strip club, not one slip up as to who it is helping me. So, whoever said she claims, I didn't make that claim. Don't put words in my mouth. I've never made that claim. My claim is, I'm not that good at stuff. Lots of stuff. But I'm good at that, and I can do it in my sleep. And I do it to everybody all the time, 24/7. I don't turn it off. It's not something you turn off. It becomes, especially as much as you guys have sent people that comment in. You go in there and try to get her talking about this. Go talk. My friends, my family, the personal trainer at the gym, whoever you can get your hands on. See if you can get her talking about this. See if you can get her talking about that. See if you can get her to tell you about this. See if you can... Oh my God. Wow. Okay, so everybody's a bad guy until they're not. Whether they mean to be or not. We're fully aware of that. We hear you talking about it. We hear you planning it. 9 times out of 10. So we get, you know, I'm always in sting out mode. There's not a time I'm not in sting out mode. I haven't had a choice. I don't have a choice. It's life or death for me, and you know that. So this was one of those, I'm going to try to kill her and make it look like something else. You guys, the other thing that we hear you guys say a lot is, if we do it like XYZ, they won't be able to link it to us. It won't. She can't say we did that. We can, because we heard you talking about it. We can. So what day are the guys that got that going to arrest you? And this is done. And I won't be broke ever again. I will never be broke again. I'll have my privacy back. My kids to go home. All the bullshit, illegal crap you did in civil court, it's going to be dealt with then. Because you guys go around time, we won. No, you didn't. You didn't win shit. I sued 3 times. That means the burden of proof is on me. 3 times, you had ex parte hearings where I'm not there. You intentionally, you did what you always do. We spot patterns, by the way, the second time you do it. It takes you 7 years, you can't spot the pattern. When you cause me a loss, you piss everybody off. Everybody gets disturbed and horrified by the loss you caused, and so we get more intel, actionable intel, names and crap as to what you're doing in your little organized crime bullshit, Mensa Queen Club. This, but you do it every day, and so we get more every day, and the more we get, the easier it will be to get a conviction, right, David? Can you put that together? At least can you put that together? Because you can't put anything else together in your head. Can you put that together, the cause and effect? And then what happens when the more you get, the easier it's going to be to get a conviction? Can you do that, David? Charles can't. We know that. Charles is way past cuckoo bird. So when you have caused me a loss, and then we get more, and then we quote you in its very specific, detailed information as to what you just said, then yeah, I'm sorry, but you're wrong about that. We can say that you did it. Okay? In your criminal case, they can prove it. Because you just proved out a recording of you. Very detailed, very specific information. And the more you cause me a loss or a harm, every night I'm in my car sleeping, and you're trying to take my car. Every day my privacy is invaded. Any kind of problem at all you cause, any kind of loss at all you cause, I lose a fucking eyelash because of you. We get more. Is everybody clear? Because I've said that over and over and over for years. Every contact Charles Sperry makes with me makes me want to vomit. I mean, I hate it. What a disgust. What a nasty, gross, absolute disgust. So we get more. Because I said, don't contact me, and you're doing it anyway. So I'm pulling out in Manford, and I go left because I see Charles Perry's guy there at the end of the drive. I don't want to go around him, so I avoid him, and I go left. Well, that delays me about 2-3 minutes. And I pull out, and somebody throws a brick at me on the freeway. Well, because I was 2 or 3 minutes behind where he thought I was going to be, it hit the pavement, bounced up, and busted my transmission in two. That could have been my head. I'm pretty sure it was supposed to be my head. Had I gone out the way that normally I did, everybody went out that way, it would have been my head. Murder attempt number 2, right, David? That was, you had your employees staying out at Lakeshore. We understand you get really nervous when I talk about how your employees were staying out at Lakeshore 2 or 3 doors down from me. Does that make you nervous, David? Why don't you come talk to me about it to my face instead of going around behind my back, telling everybody what you're going to do to me? I'm going to starve her. She's going to eat out of a dumpster. She's going to leave. Am I? Come tell me that to my face, sir. I notice you scream at everybody. Why don't you never come scream at me? Why is that? All of you have mommy issues. Go see a shrink. Get some class and dignity. You keep that within your own family. You don't bother other people with it. You don't burden and impose on other people with it. And that's what you do. What about you, Calvin? You got mommy issues? That you don't have enough dignity or class to keep within your own home? You got your dirty underwear for everybody to have to look at? That's what that is. When you got a family issue like that, and you impose it on other people and you burden other people with it, you might as well get your, shit up underwear and shove it in our face. And we don't want, it's yuck. We don't want to look at it. You keep your family issues with you and your therapist and your God and your pastor or your witch or whatever it is you guys do, and your your little blow up doll, and don't bother the people with it. And that's what you do all day, every day. Low class, no dignity. No dignity at all. See, guess what everybody else is busy doing? Working. Trying to make a difference in the world. Trying to do positive things. Laughing and joking around with family and friends. And you bitches sit around on your fat, lazy asses, watching women you can never have. Sitting there with your blow-up doll. Deciding you think you're important. But if we're quoting you every day, who matters? Me or you? I matter. Somebody with a lot of power is helping me. Be safe from you. And nobody will give you even one name. And we have what, like 6 or so of people that are either working within your organization with you, your organized crime. You read the RICO Act? Read the fucking RICO Act. You guys need new attorneys if your attorneys can't explain the RICO Act to you. And as much as you violate it on a daily basis, it seems like they're not. Coercion is a felony, Charles. Can you read, Charles? Title 18. Can you count anymore? How many times was your crime caught before you did this to me, and how many after? We think you can't even count anymore. You're an accountant. Must be scary for you. So imagine you're just driving down the highway and all of a sudden a brick comes flying at you. Imagine you're going to work. Just going to work. Both times I was just going to work, minding my own business. Doing normal things normal people do. And I'm getting poisoned and I'm getting sick and I'm throwing up. They wanted to kill me. Now it's killer by starvation. And then we can say, well, I told you so. I have emails going back to 2021. You killed Chief Miller. You tried to kill Mike and framed him. And I know that. And I picked apart that case like a motherfucker. I know how to Sherlock a bitch. And you know that. Some guy said that. You guys keep trying to frame her for a murder. And you think you're going to get her in an interrogation room and get her to confess to something she didn't do. She already knows you're altering evidence to try to make it fit. Make that lie work. She'll take it apart. What planet are you on? You heard of Mike Neely? See what she did on that? My reputation in Oklahoma is such that the second I told people I'm going to look that over and I'm going to pull up his case on the docket and read it, and I did, that the guy goes, watch, she'll find every mistake they made. That's my reputation. Not, she's a stupid stripper, or he's a little crazy with a political vendetta we don't, she never talks about. I got a political vendetta, everybody, against Mr. Perry. He's a little podunk, nothing. I've been working in federal politics all my life, federal. Guys that actually have power, like Harry Reid, second most powerful guy in the country when he was alive. He was the majority leader. He's second most powerful guy in D.C. I had just walked out of his office before I met little bitty, boring accountant, nobody, Charles Perry. Just now decides to pop out and run for something. Yeah, and we made sure you won. Because our cops, our undercovers, got right to you. A lot easier to do than going in your office and pretending they need their taxes done, don't you think? I don't know. You probably don't know because you're not all there. Can't reason. Can't reason with crazy people. So the poor officer, CPD officer, that called the lady a cuckoo bird. What is she? She's very frustrated. She's trying to get this woman to cooperate with her. She's about to blow up the place. And she called her a cuckoo bird. And that's the problem. You got a woman who's been allowed to waller on the floor for 5 hours. That, to me, is the problem. The other problem is that woman is trying to blow the place up. Her getting called a cuckoo bird is not the problem here, in my opinion. Also, it's a different situation because I'm speaking to the mind of a grandiose serial killer who thinks he's God and entitled to take a life, take freedom, take privacy, break the law, and thinks he's going to get away with it, even though he's getting quoted every day for 7 years. Having to call to find out, is it you? Is it you, NYPD? Stop stopping my crime. I don't like you stopping my crime. How many calls have you said? I mean, how many? Jesus. We're like, oh my God, wow. How do you make such a phone call? How do you even get those words out of your mouth with a straight face? All right, so that's what that is. Somebody it was murder attempt number 2. Then they hired a hitman to stage a medical emergency. This is where the syringe comes in. We'll stage a medical emergency at her work, and she'll help the guy that's in trouble. And then we'll tell her, the guy that you helped is feeling much better. Thank you for your help. By the way, he's got a virus, and you need a shot, or you'll get it too. Only in that shot is like strychnine. It'll kill me dead. And your hitman said, what do I do if she won't take the shot? And you said, you better make sure she takes the shot. You tell her she'll die if she doesn't. Okay, so imagine when you say, oh, go to Texas. I'll give you an expense account and a house in Houston, and you can be married to some guy you don't know or don't like, and to learn his real estate business. Wow. Are you in Iraq? We think you live in Iraq. Yeah, illegal as fuck. You want the money. You want the money, and that's what this is about. You sold me, and I'm not yours to sell. You got a captain down at TPD. Forgive us, but we call you Captain Gimpy. We'll explain that some other day. Now, this is not the day we're going to explain that. You want me to go get his house and start selling his house? It's not my house to sell. I'm a person. You don't sell people. It comes with a life sentence. So what day are my guys that give me what you just said, and the Fabian puzzle, and the McNamara email, and the Mike was drugged, and Gene Mitchell want to know how she knew his legal argument before he actually made it. On and on and on, day after day after day, we quote you over and over and over and over. What day are they going to arrest you? And if we're quoting you every day, why do you think you're getting away with it? Why do you think that? You try to tell me what you think, and I'm like, why do you care? Why do you think I care what you think? I mean, nobody understands why the fuck you think that. I think I told you, I don't care what you think. Shut the fuck up and get away from me. Get the fuck away from me, weirdo. I don't care what you think. I don't believe you when you say, oh, there'll be food and joy and fun in Texas. Nope. You will kill me dead, and everyone knows it. No one believes you. You have lied nonstop, all day, every day, for 7 years. No one believes you anymore. I don't go out with the man unless he makes sure I don't miss a meal. You've starved me and have deprived me of food and shelter for months, well, for years, off and on. It's definitely worse right now. You're definitely looking a lot more desperate and pathetic to deliver on something you had no right to promise. It is a crime. You're going to prison. Understood? Have I not said that enough? Have we not quoted you enough? Princess Cuckoo Bird? And I'm going to call you that, like it or not. You want to act wacky? We're going to treat you like you're wacky. All right? Get off your high horse. Get off your high horse. Grandiose thinking of a serial killer. That's who I'm talking to. Is that clear? I'm talking to people who actually think they are God. They think that. Did you know Huntington's disease makes you delusional? Did you know that, Princess Cuckoo Bird? All your contact will do is get me more. It's like you want that. Every time you take 1 penny of my money, it gets us more. Actionable intel. When I say gets us more, I mean actionable intel. Because you're pissing people off with a lot of power. You haven't gotten any names. We got a bunch of them. People within your organization. And every time we get more, you're going to pay $350 to $500 an hour in billable hours to your attorney to read the actionable intel we got that came from Mr. Perry's contacting me, peeping on me, causing any kind of problem or loss for me at all. I lose an eyelash because of you. You're going to pay for it in that way right now. All of that, though, is going to go to criminal trial. Now you got to pay a criminal defense attorney to read through it again and maybe see what he can get suppressed. And the more we get, the easier it's going to be for us to get a conviction, don't you think? But let's all do the same thing every day and expect different results. Right? All right, these are 2011 Facebook messages about stalking, not a political vendetta. I'm very vocal. If I'm pissed off, as you can tell, you're going to hear about it. You're going to know why I'm pissed off and just how pissed off I am. And you guys, somebody's complaining, oh, she uses foul language. And the guy goes, yeah, some people just talk like that all the time. But the thing is you took her home away. She's sleeping in her car. I don't see your injury. What is your injury and why you keep going to Oklahoma to get injured, Mr. Perry? You're going to a place where you don't live and don't have any business being, claiming you're an injured party because of it. Go home. Go to Lubbock, be with your family and friends, then you won't be injured. But there is actually no injury because you still go crawl into your nice warm bed while I sleep in my car, and it's fucking cold sometimes. I go days without food. I hear you're quite fat, so you're eating just fine. So where's your injury? And fuck you, that you don't like my foul language. When somebody takes everything you have and ruins your life, it tends to make you cuss a little. I didn't used to cuss. Well, when I had kids, when my kids were little, I hated people cussing around them. I didn't cuss around them because I'm raising children and I'm trying to teach them, how to behave right. Well, during that process, though, someone I don't know or like comes into, Perry's a job. My job was to get him elected, and that was the extent of it. Didn't know him or like him. But I got him elected, didn't I? I pretended like I liked you, didn't I? Pretty fucking well. So he pulls the rug out from under me, and yeah, that'll make you cuss a little. And the main thing that he did is cause a conflict between my son and I. You start messing with people's kids, they're gonna go apeshit on you. And cussing isn't the problem. Calling that woman a cuckoo bird, I'm sorry, was not the problem. What was the problem was she's trying to blow the place up. That was a problem. She was allowed to wallow on the floor for 5 hours before somebody called help. And if they'd called earlier, crisis management may have been available. That's the problem. I mean, people don't like crime. That's second on the list of things people don't like. And they don't like your crime. If they don't like any crime anywhere, why do you think they'd like yours? And you wonder, who was tolling on me? How'd she find out? People don't like your crime. You're causing everybody to feel very uncomfortable and disturbed in what you're doing to me and Mike Neely. We don't have any problems getting information. Never have, never will. We've always controlled that. You've had no control over it ever, and you never will. So what day are those guys going to arrest you? And we don't have to live like this anymore. What day is it going to be? Did you not just have some people, Charles, question you? I thought she was supposed to be back in Texas by now. Are you all lip service? See, you lie all the time. So now nobody believes a word you say. If you'll starve me here, you'll starve me worse there. And we all know that. Because you were recorded talking about it. We got to get her back to Texas where we can do more harm to her. So why would I go run to Texas? If you take me to Texas, it will be 100% against my will. And everybody knows that. You want me to lie. And I said, no, fuck you. Take your lie and shove it up your ass. It's your problem. You need the lie. No one else needs the lie. You do. Maybe you shouldn't have made promises you can't keep and had no business making. These are not about anything political. You're not the victim of a political vendetta. You're too small time. You're too podunk. You don't matter. Mr. Perry. You don't matter. I matter. That's why we can get information and you can't. I have other men in my life that have a lot of power. That's why we can get information and no one will tell you fuck. No one will tell you fuck. But every time you cause me a loss of any kind, we get more. And the more we get, the more you're going to have to pay your attorneys to read through. Now and when you go to jail. And the more we get, the easier it is to get a conviction. Don't you think, David? Can you not think that through? So, everybody's sick of y'all. I'm not gonna, if you starve me in Oklahoma, you'll sure as shit starve me in Texas. And your bullshit story and all your false promises is something everybody's really sick of hearing. No one believes you. You've lied too much. We're not born yesterday, and especially when it comes to me, I've caught your crime more than anybody you know. How many times were you caught before you did this to me? How many after? Can you still count or not? You need to remember who it is you're talking to before you lie. These are about stalking. Not one fucking thing to do with politics. You don't matter. Certainly not to me. You're a joke. All right? I've said that over and over and over. Don't make me repeat it again. You don't have an injury. Prove the injury. I'm the one sleeping in my car. I don't get to crawl into a nice warm bed. I don't get to eat every day. I have low blood sugar problems. My grandmother had diabetes. Hers started out with low blood sugar. You could kill me dead, and everyone knows that's the next way you're trying to kill me. You're all about murder. You're a serial killer, and we know that. Now, I'll do the disclaimer for your attorney. Use allegedly. No one's been found guilty in a court of law just yet. Apply the but-for legal standard. But for me having the actual injury to prove you're coming to a place where you don't live and nobody invited you. It's like somebody breaks into your home and starts tearing up all your shit, and while they're tearing up your shit, they cut their finger on something and claim they're the injured party. You're that stupid looking. You're that stupid looking. So that's what the guy said. I'm not seeing any evidence he's trying to win her heart. She said, I don't go out with the man unless he makes sure I don't miss a meal. He's trying to starve her until she lies. He's after the lie. There's no evidence of injury. He's not sleeping in his car. She is. He made a threat and he's carrying it out. And there's no evidence of political vendetta. All of this back in 2011 is about... 2011 is 5 years before I could have anticipated you'd go into a court of law and lie about being the victim of a political vendetta. We all laughed. We thought that was hysterical. Wow, he thinks he matters. You are the new guy. I already had people I knew. I already had connections. I still do. I still do. You know nothing about it. Military ecumenicals, is that what your guy thought? Whatever. All the speculation gets us... it's funny. I'm sorry, but it's funny. So I'm sorry. I apologize to Chief Franklin if it upsets him when I call Mr. Perry Princess Cuckoo Bird. I can appreciate where he's coming from, but I'm the victim here, sir. I mean, I can call him whatever fucking thing I want to call him. I'm the victim here. I've lost everything I have. The guy took all my clothes and threw them in the trash. My granddad's t-shirt from his campaign when he was sheriff. I've had that since I was 12 years old. And it's gone. His brochure when he ran for county treasurer. I've had that forever. I don't even know how long I've had that. Probably when he started running. Notes from my granny before she died. It's gone. It's fucking gone. And that meant something to me. My granddad, everybody knows, is everything. My granddad set the legacy, and it's not for sale. If you get anywhere near me, Mr. Perry, I will kick your balls will be in your brain. Just like that. Talk about being a broccoli brain. You're not going to hurt me. You're not going to. You're not going to kidnap me. I'll beat the hell out of you. Do you understand? I'm not going to go where you are. You come where I am. I will beat the ever-living fuck out of you. You're not going to get close enough to me to hurt me. Do you understand? You've already hurt me enough. That's why you're told on. It's different when you do it to me. But it's the same every time you do it. That was the McNamara email. That was the first one that we had. Who got that to me? How'd they get it? Where'd they get it from? Somebody was so completely upset and disturbed by what you said you were about to do to me. They talked, sir. That's pretty much what happens every day. And if it's not from that, I believe they got wiretap orders or something. I'm not giving all those details. I'm not even told who I'm listening to. I can, over time, I've gotten to learn certain people's voice tone. Mr. Powell, I never met him. I never heard him talk. But I heard him talking enough to you, and I could tell by context it was him that you were talking to. So now I can recognize his voice. So things like that, I can tell sometimes by context who I'm listening to. But this is outrageous and not tolerated in a civilized society. And that's why it's a crime when you do it. People said, we're not going to let you do that. We behave in this country. We conduct ourselves with dignity and respect. This is a country of home of the free, land of the brave. And you respect each other's wishes. And if you can't do that, you're going to go to jail, just like that. You're going to be removed from the society you pose a threat to. So, every night I'm in my car, we're going to get more. Every night you threaten my car, we're going to get more. I lose an eyelash because of you. We're going to get more. And then you're going to pay your attorneys $350 to $500 an hour to read through it all twice. Now and in your criminal case. And try to suppress it. And the more we get, the easier it's going to be to get a conviction. Don't you think, David? Can you put that together? Nobody picked the fight with you. I came up here to get away from Charles. He's a monster. He's very cruel. He's a monster. He has a hatred towards women. He likes deviant men. That's his thing. He does not like women. Women are an object. He's got mommy issues. He couldn't, have the it's like I said, you got mommy issues, your family problem, whatever, that you bother everybody else with. Go ahead and take your dirty underwear off and shove it in our face. It's the same thing. It's the same fucking thing. No class at all. You are making promises you are not authorized to make, and you can't keep. And that's your problem. No one owes you fucking thing. Get off your high horse. Get off your high horse. And that's why I call him Princess Cuckoo Bird. If he didn't like it, he'd act like a normal dude. Right? So, the other thing that I was going to say about that is that I think, unfortunately, in this country, and I'm in my 3rd year of criminal justice school, we have to learn about disparities and all that. And I'm looking at a lot of the statistics on imprisonments and arrests based on race and all of that. And my conclusion that I've come to in reading through all of that and what happened that day with this woman is that too many times we're blaming race as the problem when race doesn't have a fucking thing to do with anything. It is, if someone gets fired and they're a person who is Hispanic or African American, or if I was white working in, let's say, an all black, or a mostly black office, and I get fired and I say, it's the racist, against white people. Well, maybe I suck at my job. The thing is, it doesn't do you any favors to blame race when really it's poor work performance, or you just committed a crime. You just made a bad decision. The only way that we can make corrections in our life as individuals is admit when we made a mistake and fix it. You can fix it until you're dead. Till the day you die, you can fix your mistakes. And until you die, you're going to make mistakes. We all do. I do, about 100 times a day. So what about it? We all make mistakes. We all fix it. But if you start blaming the wrong thing, whether it be race or your mommy issue or whatever the fuck it is, you're not doing yourself a favor doing that, because you're blaming something that isn't actually the cause. You're not fixing the problem. You're not identifying what's the real problem. The real problem likely has nothing to do with race. It is just that you fucked up. Likely you got fired from your job because of poor work performance, and it has not a fucking thing to do with race. So what do? You get better at your job so that you get another job and you don't get fired from the next one. But in my opinion, that situation had absolutely nothing at all to do with race. It was about a woman who is in need of mental health care and was let go for 5 hours before she got it. And the person that got it for her was that female officer who called her Princess Cuckoo Bird to relieve some stress. It was very stressful. The woman was about to blow the place up, or trying to. And she was unsuccessful. But what if she had been successful? How many people would have gotten hurt? Look at that point of view of it. There's a lot of perspectives in these things that happen. Her calling her a Princess Cuckoo Bird was the least of the worries that day, in my opinion. Maybe it's unprofessional, maybe whatever. Well, maybe, Maybe what we're worried about is who let her lay on the floor for 5 hours. Who did that? That's what I'm worried about. Because that's the real problem. That's a huge problem. That's inhumane. Why would anyone do that? That is where the fault lies, in my opinion. The name calling to let off some steam because you're frustrated and having to deal with someone who doesn't know what the fuck you just said and is not responding appropriately. Whatever. The officers are under a lot of pressure 24/7. They're under a lot of pressure. Give them a break. Let it go. And I'm sorry they got sued. I don't even know how that turned out. I hope it turned out okay for that officer, because I feel like she really is not the... I feel like she's not the person that should be sued. I felt like the guy that let her lay on the floor for 5 hours should be sued. I'd sue the fuck out of him. Okay, so that was a picture of an email that I sent in February, the year before they had me kicked out of my home, when they first started talking about having me kicked out of my home. Countless contracts they've intentionally interfered with. Lots of commerce they've intentionally interfered with to keep me broke. Because that's what these men do. They strip them down to nothing, get them fired from their job, run off all their relationships, so they really have nothing left, and then sell them. So they just kind of disappear, and they're not missed at work. They don't have a job anymore. They ran off all the family, and so the family doesn't miss them. And you're caught when you do it to me. You got caught. I do know you trafficked me. I knew before you did it. I've not been trafficked yet. You're desperate to get the other half of that money, or not have to pay back what you already took, which you had no business taking. I don't go sell Captain Gippy's house because it's not my house. What the fuck were you thinking selling a person? It's a very serious criminal offense to do so, and it comes with a life sentence. You're out of line. So, this right here says that so many women who are victims of domestic violence, the guy goes at the car. So much so, they set up a program to give women rides. You fuckers are all nuttier than fuck, and you all go at the same thing. You go at the car. So, but for your little, organized crime thingy, you get caught when you do it to me. And that never happened to you before, right? Give me a number, Charles. Can you still count? How many times was your crime caught before you did it to me, and how many after? And why do you think that is? Why do you think that is? What the recording was, we want to take our money, because that's what we do to victims. Make sure they can't get a job, get them fired, can't get another job, make them go broke. Now they can't pay the rent. And again, you support the witness when you do it. You support our witness. You give him a whole lot of credibility. Was that what your goal was, to give our witness credibility? Because you did. You've done it. So that witness was used to get some probable cause for wiretap orders, from what I'm told. So keep proving them out. Keep proving out the recordings of you. Then I'm like, well, I told you so. I did say. And I don't know what the hell you're going to tell your jury. But everybody hates you now. What are they going to think? People don't like crime. It's second on the list of things we in America want changed. The elected officials we're going to vote for today better fucking deal with the crime. Because we're all sick of it. Anywhere, any kind of crime. The whole country. So what makes you think they're going to be okay with yours? And why are you surprised you're getting told on? Because they're not okay with yours. So, the guy says, since we can't take all our money and get her kicked out for non-payment because of COVID moratorium, we're going to have to do smoking. And a few days later, pay very close attention to the dates on my emails and my texts. A few days later, the fucking manager did try to do that. And you got caught. But once the COVID moratorium lifted, you tried again. And my landlord said, how many people have you gotten kicked out of their homes? I heard the recording. So you're going to have to pay your attorney to listen to that recording, sir. $350 to $500 an hour. And then this looks like a concern. Now, my ex-husband has always helped me every time you fuck with my money. And everybody noticed that all of a sudden he stopped. Right when you're getting nice and desperate to try to force me back to Texas against my will. That's not fishy. That's not fishy at all. Right? She just said, my shrink, that you had me court-appointed to see for a year and a half. Just said, I think he wants to hurt you. Yeah. When you're recorded every fucking day, having a conversation with great detail as to how to cause a specific injury that would hurt me for 7 years every day you're caught, there's pretty good indication that is your intent, to hurt me in a criminal act. And you've never been caught this much in your lives, and yet you do the same thing every day expecting different results. And nobody understands why the fuck you do that. Everybody makes fun of y'all. See, these guys are stupid.
verbally abusive, and I decided that it was just best to end the marriage. Immediately upon speaking with an attorney, things started happening. He started make you feel abusive, and I decided that it was just best to end the marriage. Immediately upon speaking with an attorney, things started happening. know information about me that he shouldn't have. I took a new job and did not tell him where the location was or who I was working for. And the third day of the start of the new job, he showed up.
Unfortunately, Sherry's example is very typical. Stalking, finding the victim, watching her, controlling her, those are all indicative of abusive, controlling relationships.
And when he was able to appear, even though I hadn't seen him following me somewhere, I started figuring he must have something that's technology related, some way of tracking me, because there's just no way.
Okay, so you got an old guy, an old fart. Charles Perry's an old dude. And, how do old dudes stalk women, with their little cane, walking down the street, stalking a woman? They can't do that. So they have to use technology, and they have money to do it. And they've done some weird things. Things no normal person could think up. Weird, twisted, sick shit. No normal person could think up if you tried to. You guys are sickos, all of you. You got a sicko club. How'd y'all meet? Online sicko club, chat room or something? We're just like, ugh, no, makes that, my guy's like, if you could see what's on Mr. Perry's computer, the hair on the back of your neck would stand on end. He's that disgusting. I think he'd have sex with a fucking brick. He's into that kind of sex weirdo shit. And it, unfortunately, has become crime causation for you. So, there's nothing wrong with being a trans. There's nothing wrong with being gay. Most gay people and most trans are law-abiding citizens. But when that turns into a BTK type thing, where now it's the crime causation, and you're a sick, twisted motherfucker, and you're killing people, now it's different. Now it's a much, much different scenario. And we spot patterns the second time you do it. Doesn't take us 7 years. Mr. Mental Slow Cuckoo Bird. Got it? When you do it to me, you get caught. Everything changed for you when you started doing it to me. I want to know the number, if you can still count. How many times was your crime caught before you did it to me? How many after? Once you started going at my house, we got Calvin's name, we got Geppetto's name, we got Lucius's name, we got Sanjay's name recently, because I'm still sleeping in my car. And I think we made it clear, I'm not to be broke anymore, and I'm not to have to ask for money from my ex-husband or anybody else. And after that happened, I said that and you ignored me. You laughed at me. That's when we got Geppetto's name, remember? And Lucius's name, and now Sanjay's name. And now we're hearing you guys, well, if we try to frame her for this murder she didn't do, you think she's going to get into an interrogation room and, confess to something she didn't do? She'll pick it apart and find out who did do it, and sting up your ass too while you're talking to her. Yep. Everybody's a bad guy until they're not. I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are. It's just now I've had to do it so much because they've just gone at me and gone at me and gone at me. I just do it. It's just part of who I am. It's a habit. It's just a fucking habit, like breathing. I can't turn it off now. You got me. If I was not good at it before, I'm very good at it now because of you. Doesn't mean I'm an expert at it. It means I suck at everything, but not that. I haven't had a choice. It's life and death for me. It's life and death for me. But I have heard there's only like 5 people in the country that can do it like I can do it.
Know where I'm at, and the timing was perfect. So we have been hearing for years people calling in and saying, I know this sounds crazy, but every time I move, I go to a shelter, I try to do something, it seems like the perpetrator knows what I'm doing. I feel like people aren't going to be able to believe me.
So it might start out with harassing behavior, and then it becomes scary behavior, and then it becomes victims who are very afraid.
Will not stop the stalking. The last belief is not in. Despite the danger and pervasiveness of stalking, it is a crime that is underreported. Some victims do not know a crime has occurred.
You know what will make somebody not report a crime of stalking? When you false arrest them for reporting it and obstruct justice and destroy the evidence of that stalking. And illegally detain them for 2 months. And hold charges out for 1.5 years. That is a deterrent. Here's the thing, Mr. Perry. You don't live in Oklahoma. You're not the victim of fuck. Sure as shit, not a political vendetta. Our murder rates in Oklahoma went up 44% since 2020. You don't have the right to deter women from reporting a crime of stalking or attempted murder or assault with a deadly weapon or any other fucking thing. Get out of our state. I've been here for 9 years. I didn't invite you here. I didn't introduce you to my family. There's no fucking way I would have taken you around my family. I told you to stay away from them. And that includes my ex-husband. I, for one, don't believe my ex-husband would like to contribute to my murder by starvation. What I do think is he's probably been threatened. Threatened and bribed. If he does it to me, he's going to do it to everybody, right? It's just who he is and what he does. That's what you do too, David, isn't it? And you're caught when you do it to me. It's different when you do it to me. And I didn't pick the fight, David. I came up here to get away from a fight. I moved twice to not deal with the drama queen. Twice. Picked up everything I had, made my child start all over again, meet all new friends, go to all new schools. That's hard by itself. To put your kid through that. It's hard for your kid to go through that. And then as a parent, you don't want your kid to have to go through that unless they just have to. Because it's safer. So you put my child through that twice. And it still went after us. Then you put my child through the trauma of watching me have to live with the fear and the harassment and the what are we going to lose now? What is he going to do now to take from us? And every time you call him and tell him you're going to do something horrible to me, and he's supposed to be okay with it. Don't call my sons, my boys again. You call my son Tristan, are you leaking? Is it your dad? Get off the phone with my family. All of you. Stay the fuck away from my family. Do you understand? When you fuck with me and my family, we get more. The more we get, the easier it's going to be to get a conviction. And you pay $350 to $500 an hour to your attorneys to read it. It's actionable intel. Can you write that down? Because we've said this over and over and over and over. It's just not clicking for you, you mental slows, all of you. There's a reason we call you Mensa Queens. You're deviant men and you like each other and you hate women. And we get that. You made your point. Because if you like women, you treat women right. You don't treat them like... Other men don't act like y'all. Other men don't do... They don't need a lie. They don't do what you're doing. They don't sell people. So why are you? And no, it's not okay. If people in this country are sick and tired of crime and they want it stopped, and we're going to vote for the guy that today that makes it stop, why do you think they'd be okay with you? With what you're doing to me and Mike? You went at me when I started figuring out what you did to Mike and Lucky. So, talk about looking guilty. I mean, this is so easy, it's not even fair, David. You attacked me. I'm a witness right there on that. I reported a crime to Manford for car vandalism. If you didn't do the car vandalism and you weren't doing the your little online peep show and the hotel guy was letting you, and I knew that, and I talked to him about it, he denied it, but he kicked me out. Refused payment and kicked me out. Yep. So... they knew that too. They were talking about it with the Epstein case, the similarities, weren't they? Just a few hours before the murder. If you didn't do the car vandalism and the murder, then you wouldn't go at me like you are. It's called witness tampering. Title 18 of the United States Code prohibits that, David, Charles. You don't have the right to do that. You don't have the right to starve me until I lie. So, when you make all these threats and stuff, and you do it behind my back, you know, in your little dresses, like a little girl coward, everybody's like, wow, okay. I don't have words for that. I have no words for that. And they're caught. They're fucking caught when they do it to her. It's different. But it's the same every time you do it. And we get it before you do it, not after. Get it? This is daycare shit. We all learned when we were like 2 years old. Cause and effect. When you cause me a loss at all, an eyelash because of you. You get caught. Cause and effect. We get the actionable intel that nobody else has. It's different when you do it to me, but it's the same every time you do it. You get caught every day. I sit there and fucking type your shit all day long. And I don't even have time to type it all up. I don't have time. And we get it before. Same and different, before and after, cause and effect. Are y'all not, I mean, you can't even keep up with a 2-year-old? Yeah, I don't even know.
Believe that reporting to law enforcement will not stop the stalking. And unfortunately, the last belief is not unfounded. In most cases, reporting Significant stalking to law enforcement does not stop the behavior due to the high rates of reoffending among stalkers. The first interaction between law enforcement and the victim is a critical encounter. It can help determine whether the victim will continue to work with the criminal justice system.
Notice the police in Tulsa called me on the 15th of February. The threats of false arrest were made in October. That's what my email says. It's called the McNamara email now. It was sent October 29, 2015 to my ex-husband. He's threatening a false arrest to coerce me. He doesn't like me. He got caught stalking. And didn't like that. Poor baby. We'll get you a tissue. And so then they start trying to kill me. So I report all that to Tulsa police on the 21st of January 2016. On the 29th, Mr. Perry goes into a court of law and lies under oath and says it's retaliation because of my job as a public servant in my legislative duties as a senator. Never mind, all my texts and all my emails have nothing. I say nothing about political anything. There's no issue anywhere. I'm vocal. You piss me off, you're going to know about it. You're hearing about it right now. You're going to know how pissed off I am, who I'm pissed off at. And, I'll rant like a motherfucker. You're going to hear it. There'd be something somewhere. But you don't matter. I didn't do state legislation. I did New Mexico as it pertained to my family after all this. After, let me back up. It was in 2012. So, it was after my son's custody thing, and a lot of people started getting in touch with me about problems at the faith-based program my parents ran. There was child abuse there. So it was a child abuse issue in New Mexico. You don't legislate in Oklahoma or New Mexico, dumbass. I never did anything in Texas. I did a fundraiser for the Texas Chiropractic Association for you. That money went to you and your campaign, right? But there was no state legislative issue that I worked on in Texas. So I didn't like to do state issues. The only reason I did it, the one in New Mexico, is because I was listening to these kids cry for hours about how badly my parents ruined their life, or ruined a plan, or ruined something. Took something from them they had no business taking, kind of like they took my inheritance money. My sister got hers, my cousin got his, I didn't get mine. Everybody told me before my grandmother died, she left you money, it is your money. Unfortunately, we're worried your mother will keep it, because your mother's a thief. And some of that was what they did with those kids. So I felt so bad, I can't make up for it. I can't give them that time back. What I can do is go to the this is what I did. This is what I did. My granddad was an elected official. I'm raised in politics. You go to your elected representatives and you tell them of the problem. Here's the problem. So we talked to Susana Martinez's office. We talked to John Sanchez's office, and found out there was no laws that would have helped the situation. So let's pass a law. So I got in touch with Michael Padilla, who was actually raised in a group home as a foster child, and I explained him the situation. And he actually did get a law written, and it didn't come out of committee. It had too many holes in it. I agreed with the committee's position. I actually agreed that it had too many holes in it. So, unfortunately, I was false arrested before I could continue that endeavor, and my reputation is fucked. So I was not able to finish out that government reform issue. And there are kids that go to a faith-based program in New Mexico who are very vulnerable to abuse and neglect. And we've seen two of them now, Teen Challenge of New Mexico, which is the one my parents ran, and Tierra Blanca Ranch, that had substantial harm done to children because there's no oversight if you're a faith-based program and you don't take state funds. You take private funds. Some guy can get out of jail, be a pedophile, rape the shit out of kids, and call it a church, and get away with anything. There's no oversight. That's what we were trying to get changed. That's in New Mexico. I did that for those kids my parents hurt. Otherwise, I didn't do state. I don't like doing state. State elected officials have enough power to get on your nerves, especially when you've been working with federal. So I did Medicare reform. That's all federal. I didn't have anything to do with state. I don't like doing state. I don't like state court. I prefer federal court. I prefer federal lobbying. It's a whole different world, whole different mindset, and that's my preference. So this bullshit here, Mr. Perry, is exactly why women don't go to police. Sometimes they're fearful of retaliation, that the perpetrator is going to hurt them for reporting to police. Things will get worse, not better. So it's the responsibility of police, so we don't all end up on the first 48, to take care of the threat. And that means address with the offender. You don't get to retaliate. You don't get to commit another violation of the law to retaliate because she reported the first thing you did. And I think that was also part of what Nicole Brown Simpson had to battle, is the retaliation after she called the cops. I mean, you could hear OJ on the screaming at her, and she's dead. The woman is dead. So we got an increase of 44% murder among domestic violence victims in Oklahoma since 2020. We can't, that's not okay. That's not okay. It's great that we got high close numbers on the first 48, but I'm going to tell you something. This is fish. Sometimes with domestic violence, it's shooting fish in the barrel. You got the threats coming in. These women don't call once; they call over and over and over. Because these guys don't do this once; they do it every day. Charles does something to me every day. Mr. Robertson does as well. They got a whole club of sex weirdos. They do something to me every day to cause a substantial, massive, profound loss you don't get over. It's going to take me a long time to fix my credit, even after I get my money. Do you understand? So, you didn't have the right to do that to me. You didn't have that right. And this is a deprivation of basic rights and needs, shelter and food. Here's the thing with charity. I'm a capable of working person. I'm not mentally ill. I'm not disabled in any way at all. The charities are for those kind of people. They are mentally disabled, physically disabled, or mentally ill, or they've got, a drug, something has made it where they can't work, they can't function. I'm very high functioning under extreme prolonged distress and duress. My grades in college until jammed up my computer and I couldn't turn in assignments for 3.9, third year in criminal justice college. So I'm very smart and very capable of working, and I want to work. I'm not lazy. But when you make it where nobody will hire me, and you jam up my fucking Dasher apps or my Uber Eats app or Grubhub or whatever, and then I don't get orders and I can't make money and I can't pay my bills and contracts are interfered with, and you do it on purpose and you do it intentionally, and you told everybody we're going to do it. We told our whole family we're going to make her broke, and you guys are not to help her, and we know that. We heard you. You think they don't have those recordings too? So you don't have that right. You need to stay the fuck away from my family. Stay the fuck away from my family. All of you. All my family. You're asking my son, is it your dad? First of all, if he leaks, what is it to you? Are you witness tampering? What is it to you? You don't call my kids and ask them if they're leaking. You don't call my family and ask them if they're leaking. It's not your business. You're the offender. You don't get to know that. So first of all, you're witness tampering. Again, read Title 18. You're fucking with it. Second of all, I'm not talking to his dad. And if I was, what business is it of yours? What business is it of yours? Stay the fuck away from my family. Stay the fuck away from them. And so you got these women calling in threats constantly. You know they're under threat, and you know who the threat is. They end up dead. You know who killed them. Anybody can figure that one out. It's not you don't have to be a Sherlock pro to get that. So just be careful. I mean, it's great that we got a high close rate, but sometimes we're a little going, well, but what happened when it was before that you could have saved that life? Was there something you could have done to save the life? Because when people are threatened all the time and you know they're at risk, where's the risk management department to keep us all alive so we're not dead and we're not on the first 48? Some of us don't really want to be on that show. We got a new episode. He finally got Cynthia. Anyways, I don't want to be on the show. I don't think anybody else wants me on the show. I think that's why we can get information and they can't, because everyone is worried about me and Mike. Mike doesn't need to be in jail. Mike is not the offender. You know who? The offender's still out reoffending. I slept in my car again. So, this right here was that. This was the false arrest threatened in the McNamara email. Mr. Perry, you're not a hero because I'm sleeping in my car. He's sleeping in my other phone. I made you sleep in your car. Charles, that's why you're told on. You're just not all there, are you? Fruitcake. You're getting caught and you're getting told on because I'm sleeping in my car, dumbass. You are by yourself. You need a lie. You're in a jam right now because I'm sleeping in my car. When you cause me the loss of anything, we get more. Do you not get that correlation there, Mr. Mental Slow? You need to act like you understand me. So this was the dismissal. It was first threatened. He did it. I filed the report on the 21st. I got arrested on the 29th. That's not even a week. Or it's about a week. And the TPD didn't call me to collect the evidence that would make the determination of whether or not the police report was true or false until the 15th. I'm already in jail in Lubbock. Obstruction of justice right there. Where's my blood test to rule out or confirm arsenic? See, you destroyed my evidence. You love altering evidence, like stealing my shampoo. My shampoo alters the color of your hair a little. I'm not going to describe how. It's very expensive shampoo. They stole it. They fucking stole it right out of my car. Because what? You got to have the real offender wash her hair with my shampoo all this time after. You know, the thing is, it doesn't change the fact that on the day of the murder, our hair color was different. Yeah. You forget who you're talking to. You forget who you're dealing with. If you get her in an interrogation room, she's not going to confess to a murder she didn't do. She's going to take it apart and find out who did do it. He is not wrong. My guy was like, that's the most intelligent thing we've heard them say all day.
Or seek additional resources to understand the crucial steps in recognizing and responding to stalking. We'll hear from various arms of the criminal justice system.
That's very
Two, that they've never reported.
And those are explained.
But it can also be misused by somebody who has the intent to harass you or stalk you as a victim.
I was married for 10 years. The perpetrator knows what I'm doing. I feel like people aren't going to be able to believe me.
So it might start out with harassing behavior, and then
Despite the danger and pervasiveness of stalking, it is a crime that is underreported. Some victims do not know a crime has occurred. Some believe that reporting to law enforcement will not stop the stalking. And unfortunately, the last belief is not unfounded. In most cases, reporting stalking to law enforcement does not stop the behavior due to the high rates of reoffending among stalkers. The first interaction between law enforcement and the victim is a critical encounter. It can help determine whether the victim will continue to work with the criminal justice system or seek additional resources. To understand the crucial steps in recognizing and responding to stalking, we'll hear from various arms of the criminal justice system.
does vary greatly from state to state.
It becomes important to...
Charles, who's going to arrest you? Who got me this email right here, the McNamara email? Who got that from you to me? Right up under your nose without your permission. It wasn't up to you, was it? So, what day is that guy going to arrest you? I think you need to leave me the fuck alone. The more you contact me, boy, it makes me mad, because I told you not to do that. I don't like it. So we get stuff like this every day. You're a dumb fuck, you know that?
Your community. We have to establish that element that some type of fear has occurred.
This says, by the way, I spent $5,000 giving to Joe Chadwick at Lady Godiva's to avoid going to work. I paid that in no-show fines because I was afraid to go to work since they tried to kill me there more than once. Charles, you are not a hero that you have me broken. You want to take my car. That's how we get information. Geppetto. Ask Geppetto. Ask Sanjay. Ask Lucius. See how much see if they think that's cute. This says, at the very last highlighted sentence, it's not legal. I know it's a crime. But I'm going to have her car towed and sold before she figures that out. He's been trying to get my car every day since 2019. Because he is going to starve me until I lie and force me against my will to be sold to some fucker in Houston who has a real estate business. I said no. That's a life sentence, sir.
Have to make sure that you include in your report the fear that this victim sends, or the intimidation, or the harassment, and you have to make sure that you put that in your report very descriptively so that we can ensure good prosecution.
Because fear and substantial emotional distress, elements of stalking, are so subjective, it's often law enforcement's responsibility and role to be able to extract that from a victim with a good interview and with good follow-up questions. So if somebody comes forward and reports to law enforcement, my car got damaged, my tires got slashed, somebody keyed my car, they keyed a swear word into the side of my car. Law enforcement needs to recognize that that's the type of behavior that a stalker would engage in, and then ask the appropriate questions. Do you have anybody that you're currently having problems with? Is there anyone that you've tried to end contact with?
Has the person is stalking you been subject to a protection order or some other restrictive order issued by the courts? Any other behaviors transpired prior to?
Okay, so in the state court case, in my lawsuit, I asked for a protective order, at which time, 14 days after that request, they are to have a hearing, and guess what? Once again, no hearing. Kind of like Michael Neely, I file a motion to intervene. There should have been a hearing to see if I had standing even to file that. There was no hearing. There's a lot of ex parte hearings where I'm not there. We call that intentional concealment of material facts that would likely change the outcome of the deciding body had those material facts not been concealed. It's called perjury or suborning perjury. So that's 5 years to life per count.
And those are exactly the kind of things that either may be lost when they initially come to report the crime and nobody writes it down, and so they may walk away thinking that what they've just reported doesn't matter.
The officers that are responding to it need to
Why two?
44% increase in dead people, dead women, at the hands of an offender who is a domestic violence offender since 2020 in the state of Oklahoma. Mr. Perry, you're not a hero. You're told on all the time. You don't have a date. You don't have any chance of one. You're told on all the time. Look at the results of your actions. It's the same thing every day for 7 years. You know, that's why our shrink thinks you're severely mentally retarded. It shouldn't take you 7 years to spot the pattern. I'm touching the stove. I'm getting burned. I'm going to do it anyway, dadgummit. I'm going to prove I'm stupid. We're all like, oh my gosh, I don't even have words for that. It's giving me a headache in my eye. You can't reason with crazy, and you can't fix stupid. And talking to Mr. Perry is like talking to broccoli, literally. He has no fucking idea what you just said. He acts like he has no fucking idea what you just said. No, he doesn't know. It's not clicking. Something's not clicking for him. The elevator's not going to the top. Now we hear he's got Huntington's disease, and that will cause paranoia and delusion. Our shrink believes he's also got some senile dementia, maybe Alzheimer's, because he can't remember. You have to repeat yourself all the time. Say the same thing over and over. And they have the same conversations over and over and over. And we're like, we caught you on that already, guys. We only need one time to establish premeditation in mens rea. When you give us 20, 30, 40, 100, then we, you can't argue that you didn't mean to do it. You got too many that says you do. And you got to pay your attorney $350 to $500 an hour to go through all the intel we get every time you piss me off and you piss my guys off because you cause me a loss or a hardship. So you do what you do. We're sure you can live with your choices, right? Charles, you don't have the right to sell a person. I'm not your concubine. I don't subscribe to your weirdo beliefs. I'm not crazy, you are. You got an actual disease that says you're crazy. Huntington's comes with delusion and paranoia. And you're as cuckoo bird as they get. You're as absolute, and you're harming people with it. You're an imposition and a burden everybody wants gone. We don't have problems getting information, you do. We don't have leaks, you do. You have not one name of anybody helping me that gets me all that shit. And we've got all kinds of names. And we get them because when you contact me, when you cause me loss, the longer you invade my privacy, the longer you cause, I'm sleeping in my car and I'm broke, the longer Mike Neely's in jail, the more we get. And the more we get, the more it's going to cost you with the attorney fees to read through it all, both now and later. And it's easier to get a conviction. So you do what you do. Cuckoo bird. I mean, people make fun of y'all. Because it's like, wow, I mean, this is outrageous. It's outrageous. But we got to do better in Oklahoma. for violence, domestic violence victims, and not have 44% die. An increase in dead women, bodies, people, kids without mommies, families, lost a person they really love. They're gone. We can't get them back. We can't get Lucky back. Lucky's family deserves to know how he died. His kids deserve to know he did not die in a drunken brawl with a guy who wasn't mad at him. Everybody was confused. What happened? They weren't fighting. Ty Buttram and Chief Ridley both said they weren't fighting. They were best of friends. We don't understand. This doesn't make any sense. But Ty Buttram said if he's killed in a traffic pullover or in the line of duty, that makes sense. Well, that's what he was killed in, because he was trying to save my life. And you wanted him gone. Well, when you go at me, it supports the belief that you killed Chief Miller and framed Mike. You tried to kill Mike too with drug overdose. He was found unconscious and in respiratory distress. He was treated with Narcan for drug overdose. I said it before anybody else said it. I said it before anybody else said it. I did get in touch with Gene Mitchell and say, your legal argument is it's not possible, much less plausible. Why would you fucking do that to your client? You have a fiduciary obligation to give him a vigorous defense. And what he told to the media and what he told to the jury were two different things, because you told him to. You illegally influenced a court proceeding which got a man wrongfully convicted because you did that murder, and the way that you act shows you did that murder. Because you wouldn't go at me, and you wouldn't go at my family, and you wouldn't go witness tamper, altering evidence, changing evidence. Let's frame her for this murder so we can smear her again. Because I need a lie, and she won't lie for me. And she won't be trafficked voluntarily. We're going to have to kidnap her. And if we can't kidnap her the old-fashioned way, with the chloroform rag and shit, let's just starve her. Let's interfere with commerce and contracts. And starve her and have her call her ex-husband and have him go get her. That's what your guy said. We thought her ex-husband was supposed to bring her back to Texas. You're making promises you can't keep. You're a lot of lip service. And I heard we got that one too. Because every time you cause me a loss of any kind, that's what happens. We get more actionable intel. You piss everybody off. People don't like crime at all. It's second on the list of things people want changed for today. They're voting for people who are going to change it. So what makes you think they would like yours? You're causing people to be deeply disturbed and horrified. And the depraved indifference to human life also. It is not humane to watch someone go days without food and sleep in a car when it's cold. You're inhumane. You're sick fucks. You're all sick. And everybody's tired of dealing with it. So what day will my guys put you in jail and we're done? I don't know. You can find out the hard way. That's kind of your thing.